This game dropped into my Steam Discovery queue a few weeks ago, which was a welcome change from the usual stuff I get in there.
Cyberfucker!
As soon as I saw the screenshots on the Steam page, I knew this was one of those games that was going to get me, and I was right. It's been about 25 hours now, and I still feel kind of like a noob. There's a temptation with this kind of game to run immediately to YouTube, Twitch, and the wiki to figure out how you're supposed to spend your time versus what's wasted effort. But for one reason or another, I decided to stay blind for this game. And I think I'll do that more in the future. It's been a lot of fun. It'd be a pretty tough game to pick up if you'd never played a game like this before, but if that were the case, I don't think you'd ever end up playing it anyway. I think it's only really attractive to people with broken minds like me and presumably you. There is a tutorial, but it's not finished and quickly tells you that you're on your own from here, before getting anywhere close to any of the wider mechanics of the game, quite a few of which I've still barely touched, including the overworld region map on which you can allocate admin points and levy taxes on a population. There'll probably be another video on this game when I'm at more like 100 hours played, since I'm honestly just getting started. The core gameplay involves building up your faction's capital and keeping the citizens happy. You get that phenomenon that's very common amongst these games, where you're absolutely smooth sailing for hours and hours until you're very suddenly not anymore. For me, the usual suspect was an over-reliance on imports that scale with population growth, quietly sucking away at your cash flow until all of a sudden you don't have enough mushrooms to keep the Cretonians happy. But there's a variety of ways to piss off your citizens. Sometimes you just have too many Garthinians hanging around the place with their fucked up faces creeping everyone out. I didn't want to make a review of this game though, because I don't feel like this is the kind of game that someone needs to tell you you'll like. You already know. And it's got quite a bit of development left to go as well, so it wouldn't feel entirely fair. Also, it's got a demo that you could play for hours and not even realise you hadn't bought the full game. So you can just find out for yourself whether or not you want it. But if you've made it this far, you want it. Something I talked about on stream the other day while playing this game was my tendency to fall into strangely narrowly focused grooves when playing games. In Path of Exile, I'd always want to play builds that had very specific item requirements, and when StarCraft 2 launched, I spent probably 16 hours running 6 and 8 pool Zerg rushes on ladder. In Age of Empires or Command & Conquer, I'd make enormous armies of a single unit. And that may all seem irrelevant, but trust me, if I don't explain this, then the next part's going to sound a little bit genocide-y out of context. Something's broken in my mind that leads me down this path in games, and it manifests itself here by making me gravitate towards monocultural cities that are almost entirely composed of one race, focusing very heavily on a single industry to fund everything else. The city I was playing on stream was mostly Cretonians, which are pig people, who mass-produced opiates purely for export since there's no actual function developed for them yet. Most of the footage seen in this video though is from a city I started intending to have my main population be the elf species, called the Tilapi. Not the fish, that's tilapia. They're good at herding and woodcutting, which is kind of antithetical to the usual wood elf deal, but that's fine, I'm okay with it. They're also cannibals. But I struggled to attract enough Tilapi immigrants and started bringing in pig people to help man the farms. And then the pig people quickly outnumbered the elves. They're just so easy to please, I can't help it. I do always keep a small core of human citizens. They're good at intelligent jobs like research and admin, and while I haven't figured out whether there's a way to filter a job by species, the population seems to naturally sort themselves into what they're best at anyway. Another trap I kept falling into that's not really a trap, just something that annoys me looking back, is that when building a city of square buildings, I tend to just create a blueprint for each building type and then copy-paste it all over the city whenever I need another of that type of building. It reminded me of British telephone exchanges. I've worked in literally hundreds of them, and most of them are built off the same 5 designs, which really fucks with your head when you work in the same building in 10 different towns. That's not relevant, I just wanted to mention it. An interesting point that this leads into though, is that the shape of your buildings does actually have an effect in-game. The Tilapi prefer to live and work in rounded or naturally shaped environments. Maybe that's why I struggled to attract enough of them early on in this city. I actually found out afterwards that the pig people also like round buildings, so I don't think that was it. The game is full of systems that remain mysterious to me, like the regional taxes. When I tax a region on its eggs, am I getting eggs, or am I just getting the value of the eggs in denarii? The game doesn't tell you, it just gives you a page of sliders on how much you want to tax a region for each different product. It turns out that you get the raw products that you're taxing shipped directly to your capital, where you have to have an import depot built for any resource you intend to tax, and the number displayed on that menu is the monthly amount. I looked that up on the wiki just to write this paragraph, because I don't think I would have ever figured that out on my own. I think that the next 25 hours of this game for me will just involve perfecting the art of making a functioning and efficient capital, whilst also slowly learning how to play the other half of the game that takes place on the world map. So, having said all of that, why did I make this video? Does it matter? You're not my dad. I've been streaming quite a bit, that's why my massive nose is tucked away in the bottom left of this footage. If you want to see more of me and my massive nose on a regular basis, check out my Twitch in the link in the description. I've absolutely fallen in love with this game over the last couple of weeks, so to be honest I just wanted to put something together about it. That's the end. Go away. Very abrupt. It's by design. It's artistic and like avant-garde.